Yeah, you will lay a desire. Then I'd wear drag power. Via to get this again. I say, oh, me, I'm right. And by doing you, I'm a quartet of my trade there. Well, on it goes away. Alas, I go that you are not. We say you Papa Mora, get you up with anywhere, Momba Sivole. Sivole. L'arrangeur parmi national, très trop fort. We are glad that we want by say so where that you are. I want say bobo. There be oh. Do a web that play you go back for money. Papa nye guitar, petit, blazo fait sonner. Kaidaka. Bena paya posa gogo, mambo panjago. Apo blo akafwe. Apo zanyo kafwe. Be afonte moi bandi yo pa kle yu kiyen. Nyanjo si mwen. Posto kata tuyo kwe atinyo di owan. Emo o. Nese tokan. Kwisi izwa pokoke. Wede yebe. Koworia nakanda salute. Posto kata tuyo kwe atinyo di owan. Emo o. Nese tokan. Na kwisi izwa pokoke. Wede yebe. Koworia kanike. Na konkete nyambe wewe. Na nyonsa on se bliane. Yayo, wale yayo. Let's do what you yes, grab the work. Say your book on ya. Are you an owl? Say bobo that you know, and we say you over. I want to you come on, need a boy, and yes, I'm going to buy them with Mwege. Hey, Imo, gay, one of what I want, I guess me, I'm done, and it the boy. Oh, ow. Say, Bobo, that you know, now we say you will. So, like it, I'm going to never go. Netoni and Rayo. Hey, are you? Oh, but just say, oh, yeah, I'm a walking ever. Kaidaka. When it was to work, I go to let you know halfway. I just know. This is what I say. Say, Bobo, yeah. You like to run them one way. One name on tell it they get by Botamu. Can you under? Planning Papa, Pinigation, Bacao Lage, the Pussy Bob, the PSC baby. Don't yes, you can up one. Don't say Bob was a dressy, Mambo, Belly Bobo, that you know, and I will say you over. I will. Saibo. In back to a black guy, do it so say. I just want to lay a back to an hour, you see you okay. Wait, you, Saibo. On the green, I walk like a bad day noir. Eh, so what I say. So now, when you're naturally stand, claim the soule. Say, Bobo, that you know, and I will say you over. I'm done it. Where are you? So on my way. I know Russell, can't be a gospel. South your fault, your way. Thank you for your work and my one. I'm the Pope and Yaguba. Don't finish it, I say, oh, Clavodio. Say, back in what clip we are coming. Say, Bobo, that you know, and I will say you over. About people, you need this room. Pamus, the woman get daughter, Siko Bala. Clavodio, I say. Say, I say, but you know, can one day, yeah, your family, your thing, one day, now. I reward, I say, oh, but yeah, I'm more down. Say about that, you know, and I will say you. I wish a rule of the but yeah, something you Saibo, 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 that young man now will take you. Mop man down the melody, read on your man, don't you? But you know I say, it's a mayo. That was the yes, you also won't when you. I'm original, I say,
Oui, il a fait une chanson à Moblé Production, voilà. Et Moblé Production, c'est une structure qui est créée pour les jeunes qui sont dans le guémon, pour les jeunes de l'US et tout. Moblé Production est là pour produire les jeunes talentueux, cachés, que les gens ignorent. Donc notre devoir, c'est de produire des talents cachés. Alors, il a fait un son pour Moblé Production.
Arrangé Eric Glodé, le don de Dieu pour la musique de l'Ouest. Je te détesterai jamais. Jamais, jamais, au grand jamais. Moblé Production, Abia Dia Oboa, Amunyadro, moi et toi Pierre. Moye, Pierre, moye, Pierre, moye, à toi Pierre qui a volé, Pierre, moye, ah Pierre, oui. Ndato Pierre se prononcer, à toi Pierre qui a volé, à Bossiao, moye, Pierre, moye. Bossa bossa iko moye Pierre ji mo were mangoye mo a Pierre ji mo were mangoye mo Pierre we bebe ha ji a were Pierre mo moye to Pierre moye Pierre ji a were ba lo poje yo ji a were so no juni emble Amado, let's appelé. J'ai mon équipe à yonner, maman j'ai équipe à yonner, j'ai le bonnet na kanyopo. Si à vous tienne, des kanyoue, kanyon de coquin, c'est pas du pléa. Pierre mon moyen, Pierre mon moyen, Pierre mon moyen, mon garba, oh y'a ça. Moye, Tibla, no pigeon boba, Yeruno. Ma boy, Pierre, Moye, Moblé Production. Au Pierre, Moblé Production. À ça au clan, Yahweh a bien le mot, le côté. Pierre, Moye, Pierre, Moye. Pierre moye, Ericona, Pierre moye, ah Charlie Cona, Pierre moye, ah to Pierre moye. Die na pa yeble, to Pierre die na pa yeble, ah nie Pierre we, ah Pierre we. Pierre moye, Erico jato Pierre mare bomu jato Pierre Erico de bomu jato Pierre Miomo daka yo jale ko ye nyowo pa opa obla ye de nyani ye ble bra kite dia o anade kro aja be atia nyoro agbade ki agudi ye ono homono ne ka double ye so bo somo soble so danyo paseble asenyo na yeta esa ye dibo sanere e to Pierre jawe ke to Pierre point so weke to Pierre yiwa mo pa kaya no e ka sene la taya mo la osiane to Pierre ki agba ere papa ko kia o a to Pierre moye ah tu agba mo e dibe ko agba mo e you agba mo e Pierre we ah Pierre you agba mo e Pierre we ah Pierre mo moye Pierre mo moye Gayo padà we nebo kango Gayo padà we nebo kango ah tideji ah tideji we ah mara tidie me o awo Uba kari to kwene to wake asa o mande Pierre mo moye Pierre mo moye moye ese sonia wutie ase o mama sable ye angela gwene e bobo panglo gwe angela gwene na ma bobo panglo gwe angela gwe angela je ma jagba ke yo tare aji o moye angela moye ah mama mo keblo ya mama keblo de we you je sais ma jackie, je sais, maman, je sais, t'en es à qui Handa Nicolas, mais au Tia, Madame Nicolas, t'en es à qui Nicolas, le Toyamo, au Tuachi, n'a pas de moyen. Blanc, la Chili, Agia, Agia, moyen, Yaro, moyen, 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 Yaro, moyen, moyen, allez, moyen, moyen.
Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again this evening for joining us on this eve of Thanksgiving, we want to first of all thank God for keeping us alive. And we say, Jesus Christ, you're wonderful. And we love you. I love you. And I continue to praise you for what you have done for us. Thank you, Jesus. This is a holiday season. Tomorrow is going to be Thanksgiving. There are some brothers and sisters that are flying right now. There are some brothers and sisters that are driving as we speak. And so we will say to our brothers and sisters that are driving, please be very, very careful. Because as I always stated, and I will continue to say, you're driving, you know your own driving abilities. But you don't know the next person driving abilities. You don't even know who's sitting behind the wheel of the car approaching you. Whether the person is drunk, whether this person is on a suicide, whatever it is, you don't know. So basically, you're putting your life and everything else, everyone else in the car in God's hand, first of all. Then second, in your ability to maneuver. And so when we're doing these kinds of stuff, those of us that know a little bit about cars and rules, we will continue to inform you about the safety aspect of driving. It's very important, first thing, that you know your position on the road. You know your position on the road. What I mean by position on the road, for example, you're driving a highway, two-lane highway. Usually two-lane highway, you have one coming, one going, so you don't have two lanes going. But if you're driving a four-lane highway, two coming, two going. So what position are you? The first one, the way on the left-hand side, is called number one position. The one to the shoulder, the one you can pull over, is number two position. If you're driving six lane, okay, three going, three coming, you have number one. Far right, far left, you have number two. In the middle, you have number three. So and so forth. If you're driving 8 lane, 4 going, 4, it's the same thing. You start from the far left, it's your number one lane. Okay, so know your position at all times. Know your position at all times, and it makes sense. Think about it. Where do you start writing from? You start from left to right. Okay, so number one, two. That's simple as that. Now, I'm not going to go into the reason why they do these kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go into that. That's not my concern right now. The reason that I'm talking to you about this safety aspect of this particular time, we have a Thanksgiving tomorrow. Brothers are going to spend time with other relatives, which is wonderful. But please keep your eyes on the road. Don't drive and do texting. Don't drive and drink. If you want to drink, get to where you're going, enjoy yourself. You will be in a house. Nobody say you can't drink. You work all week, and this is a holiday season. It's time to buckle down and enjoy with family members. But please do so with safety in mind. I'd love for you to come back here on LIBERIA Public Radio and try to criticize me. Say whatever you want to say about me. I don't care. I just want you to stay alive. It's very important, very important. So the safety aspect of the driving today is very important. Now, another thing, where you're going to a family member house. There are some family members, I'm not too sure if this thing is common in the Liberian community, where family members get together for Thanksgiving thing, and then sometimes they get into argument and stuff like that. So I'm not too sure if that's kind of common in our community. But whatever it is, please try to settle it as brothers and sisters. Go behind the house and take it out on him, whooping, then come back. I'm just joking. That's what I would do if I were going to Ohio right now. I meet up with Joe. I say, you Joe. And he say, you something, you Ivy. And he says, your car, I want to do where you are. And I will take those two boys to Town. I will not fight them right now. I will not fight them in America. But we'll go to Town. Behind Brown Toe House. And I will catch two of them. Samson too. As old as I am, I'm talking about fighting people like Ivy and Joe. They will flock me. No, those are my two little brothers. I love them dearly. They know that. But anyway, on a very serious note, folks, whenever you have an argument, try to behave yourself as a grown-up. Okay? On a very serious note, the safety aspect of the driving. Most of you are going to try to leave after work, and then you get on the road at night. Night driving is much more dangerous than it is driving in the day. Okay? Because night driving, you only see the light ahead of you. Okay, so you have to double your effort in safety related issues. The most thing you want to do when you're driving on this particular time, practice the 3 seconds rule. The 3 second is your car is here, the next car is in front of you. Mark a spot ahead of you where the car will be, and you start counting. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. By the time you say 3, you should be at that spot. That's called the 3 second distance between you and the car ahead of you. Now, in case of accident, it doesn't mean you're not going to hit them, but your reaction time will be a little bit quicker, because your reaction time usually is very slow for everybody. Okay, think about it. You're driving. You know how long it takes to take your foot from, it has to register in your brain that, oh, something ahead of you. Something is now number ahead of you. Then your brain passes that message on to your body to react. So your foot then reacts from removing itself from the pedal of the gas and try to do the brakes. You know how long that takes? It takes a long time. Okay? But if you have that 3 second rule between you and the car ahead of you, you give yourself a little bit of room. Another thing you want to know your position at all times, as I stated. If you're in the second lane, if you're in the second lane, which is the middle lane, if you got one, if you have 3 lanes, and 1, 2, 3. If you have 2 lanes, the first and the second. That's why second lane is the next thing you're going on the shoulder to go stop, because you can't drive on the shoulder. Okay, but if whatever lane you're in, make sure you utilize the 2 size mirror of your car. Look at them. Where are you? Where is the person behind you? Where is he now? Look in the view mirror. Start counting the amount of cars that are behind you, so that when somebody is leaving to take over, you can know exactly that the person is coming to take over. You know that, so you prepare for it. But if you don't pay attention to it, and you think you're making a turn to take over somebody's already on that side. Collusion ahead. But good thing, nowadays, the cars they have nowadays, they warn you. They give you a warning light, wing, 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 to tell you something else is happening. So we're very blessed to have those kinds of technology nowadays. But seriously, let's take care of ourselves this weekend, please. It's for us. Some of us is 3 days weekend. Some is 4 days weekend. Some is 5 day, whatever vacation time you have. But the most important thing I want to leave for you here tonight before I go doing my show is that please stay safe. It's very important that you stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive, because perhaps it might not be you. But just imagine you are responsible for somebody else's death. You are responsible for somebody being crippled. You are responsible for somebody not being able to feed their family because of your negligence, because of some other thing that you have done. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the kind of guilt that will be on you? You don't want that. Some of you, right now, you go somewhere, somebody get you angry, and you will say some words, and after 2-3 seconds or so, you come to say, what? Why did I even put myself in this position to make myself look like that? Why should I say these things? Because you start feeling guilty, because that's not your character. That's not your character to insult. But because somebody provoked you, and the fact that you are unable to control yourself at that moment, you utter some words that perhaps are not conducive to the situation, which then put your character at risk at that movement as well. So now you're thinking, how do I get back my character? I have done some stuff here that is not me. And the guilt you have within you is tremendous. And you don't want that. Just imagine if you were responsible for somebody being hurt. So please, this holiday season, please let us don't hear any kind of bad news from ourselves, from our community, from anybody else. Let's be safe, and let's put God first. Whatever we do, let's put ourselves in the hands of God. Let Him guide us. Just think about it. And I'm not here to preach to you. That's not what I do. But think about it. somebody says to you, don't worry about anything. All you do is trust in me, and I will take care of whatever burden you have. Can you imagine? That's how far I'm going to go on that one. So, in other words, let's put our trust in God and make sure we do the right thing. Come with me, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. It's going to be a very interesting show here tonight. This is something that I really, have in mind here to do. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. As usual, it's development, and I'm going to do some stuff, which is reading. I will continue to do the reading of the pro-poor agenda of CDC. Again, let me just say this here very quickly. I'm not blind to what is happening in Liberia. Far from it. I'm on air most of the time reading and listening and reading and listening. And it's not like I'm turning deaf ears to these problems that are facing our people back home. Far from it. But as I continue to say, I will do my best to continue to preach peace. I'm not alone. There are other Liberians that are doing the same thing. So I'm not claiming the credit for myself. But I will do my best to preach peace, and I will also continue to preach development. Even if our people that are responsible are not paying attention to it, that's not something that I'm going to say because people are not paying attention, then I'm going to stop. Just so that I will get audience. And because I want audience, I want to say some things. I don't want to do that. If I don't get audience, that's fine. But I must be truth to myself and truth to the camera that is facing me. Here on LIBERIA Public Radio, this is what we do. Okay? It's not time to call in. It was by mistake. Please, let's do this. Okay, it's not time to call in. Definitely not. Why would that happen? Okay. All right. Okay, so I don't know why this is like that. But anyway, like I said, I'm not here for audience tonight. If audience want to follow, thank you. We appreciate it. But I will do what I can to continue to promote Liberia and things that Liberian can do. I will continue to read the pro-poor agenda. But before I do that, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. As usual, when I come on, before I start any of the reading or what have you, I come out with this video. Okay, let's look at it. No, this is just not how it's supposed to be. Okay, all right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Okay, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. So stay with me, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Just stay with me, because this is not what I had in mind. Because something else is happening right now that I don't quite get why it's happening. But stay with me. Stay with me. In fact, I don't need to. You know what I was getting ready to play anyway. So I'll just stay up here tonight. I'll stay up here, and wow, this is well, what do you expect? This is the holiday season, so Samson too is playing game with himself here tonight. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for staying with me here. And there are a lot of things here. I showed you some video the other day. I wanted to show you some another. Let me try this one and see if it's gonna even work. Let's see. It's not working.
Afrikipo Junction, Accra.
It's not working. It's not working. Forget it. Okay. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Samson to LeBron Pop Radio. The kind of video that I was going to be showing was the video that I always use to introduce my show, which is the video of Dr. Weir when he was campaigning. And I was also going to show you a video that had to do with Ghana, the development progress they're making in Ghana. But anyway, that's fine. We'll do that Friday. Let's go on and read the pro agenda. And the pro agenda, this is what it says. It says here, pro agenda for prosperity and development, a 5-year national development plan towards escalating inclusive and sustainable development, July 2018, June 2023, Republic of Liberia. So that's what the pro agenda is, and this is an agenda that was put out by the CDC-led government. And so one of the problems that I have is I'm not too sure why is it that they are not quite getting on reading these things, making this a priority, and having the people to know exactly what the agenda is. Because if you ask many Liberians, most Liberians right now, the most likely don't even know what a pro agenda is, what exactly the blueprint for CDC-led government is going to be. And so if you don't let the people know what you're doing, how do you expect them to follow you? How do you expect these people to know what your intent is? You can't just be leading the people based on emotions and sentimental issues and what have you. It's time to govern, folks. This is not time to fool around. Because if we don't, we will continue to remain the way we are. Okay? There was an article, something somebody sent to me today. I'm not too sure if that was a true statement from Russia President Putin. But the quote from him was that, according to what I've read today, was that Africa is a graveyard that is for people, only African to bury them. And he went on to say that in Africa, most of the people, they go to school in Europe, America, and other places. After that, they go back. Sometimes they start working, get money. They go back and buy property overseas. They don't do any development in Africa. Then sometimes they will leave and come overseas and work and make money. They don't do any development. But then when they die, they want to make sure that their body go back to Africa to be buried. So that's why he calls it the graveyard of Africans. Because there's nothing good that's happening over there except to bury people. Think about it. When I read it, I was kind of angry. Because why would you say something like that about my continent? But then when you think about it, you say, maybe it makes sense. Because most of our brothers and sisters die in the diaspora. They want to be buried back home. Which one of us that don't want to be buried in your village? But then the point is, what have you done in the village that deserve your body? Think about it. And I'm not trying to say something here to get other people angry or what have you, but I just want to make that point. Let's go on to the pro agenda, okay? The pro agenda. I read some stuff the other day. Now today, I'll be reading 1.12 of the pro agenda. Topic to be read here will be historical perspective in the pro agenda. Now let's look at it as I'm reading. Think about this as being the pro agenda blueprint, their blueprint for the government, what they intend to do, how they intend to do these things. And I've encouraged all of you that are listening to please find this document and let's read it together. Maybe if we read it, you will find that, because I've gone through most of it, you will find a lot of things that you argue among yourself. They're all in here, most of them. So in this pro agenda, there's something there that is for you. You might not agree with everything, but I'm sure there's certain aspect of the pro agenda that you're going to love. And that's my frustration with the government. Why is it that the government, knowing full well that they seem full of good things, Good ideas. Now, you bring out these, you bring this paper up for discussion among intellectuals, not just intellectual, people in the village, but you bring this out for discussion, and they will pick up what they think is suitable for them, and they will tell you how they want you to implement certain things quickly. They will also help you. But if you don't tell them what this blueprint is all about, how do you expect them to cooperate with you? They will always want to find negative thing about you and stress on it because you have not given them anything positive to stress on. And here's the document that you people have put together full of all kinds of good positive things. But then only something to it seemed to me that I have taken on the responsibility to read this thing. I've not heard, maybe other people are reading, but I just not heard it. And I'm not too sure why do we do that to ourselves. Because these are things, these are ideas that will be able to help us. Pretty much like a foundation. This is a blueprint. But I bet you most of the people that are working for the government, you give them this article and say, what article 1.12 says? Most likely don't even know. Okay? This thing should be almost like a Bible. Think about it. When you are in school, or now that you're in school, each of the classes that you're taking, they have a book for that most of the time. And the book is not so much just for you to read, but it's the blueprint of what the instructor intends to teach. And there will be certain things in there that perhaps the instructor will not touch, but they are there for your benefit. It's the same thing here. Why is the government not doing this? I don't know. Let me read on. Samson told Liberia Public Radio. Historical perspective. Through much of its history, Liberia has struggled with building an inclusive nation with shared value and cultural appreciation, extending well beyond the narrow political and economic interests of the ruling elite. Oh, my people. Is that not what we've been fighting about, saying in the last, I don't know how many, whatever? The elite are this, the elite are that. Here in the Propo agenda, they address that. People are supposed to read these things. Have a reading competition on the Propo agenda. Go to take this paper to the University of Liberia. Because the University of Liberia is a learning center. Despite all of the wrangling that coming out of soup and what have you, University of Liberia is a learning center. These things are supposed to have some sort of a forum at a university. And you make a circle, round table, actual round table, and discuss this. You will find that the university student will pick these things up. They will address some that are negative, that perhaps they don't agree with, but you will also find out among themselves that they will not all agree on all of this. But here's the interesting thing. The opportunity is there now for them to discuss it. Unless you don't believe in this thing, you just put it up for reading, for just, bluffing sake. But if you truly believe in this, discuss it. And you will find out people will follow you. But here is the other interesting thing. And I will say this. Those that are following Dr. Weir, that have nothing to contribute, will not want this thing to be discussed. Will always come up with some sort of a foolish confusion so that these kinds of stuff are not addressed. Because the intellectuals will be willing to address it. In fact, if you put this up for discussion, you will find out that some of your opposition might not have a leg to stand on. Oh my goodness. Let me go on. This is very interesting, but let me go on. Okay, they said the elite. Okay, let me read that again. Listen to it. Listen to this. This is a historical perspective. They said throughout much of its history, Liberia has struggled with building an inclusive nation with shared value and cultural appreciation extending well beyond the narrow political and economic interest of the ruling elite. You get it? Now, if you have these kinds of things being discussed, people like me, political junkies like me, I will grab on this, and I might even take that to be the subject matter of the day on my show. And every one of these social media personality will pick something from here and discuss it instead of cussing each other, because you have given them something to discuss without cuss. Let's go on. State power and control of natural resources and the wealth that processes conveys are often co-opted by the ruling class to the exclusion of others. Oh, how true. Sansinto was in Toll Town, where his father, his uncle, his grandfather, everybody were paying taxes to the Tuwi party. And in the whole of Bia Chiefdom, population maybe 5, 6, 7,000 or more, and one elementary school. Each of the people were paying $10. Calculate that. The money that went to Monrovia and Bia Chiefdom, or the whole chiefdom, more than 10,000 people, just to come to think about it, only have one elementary school in Toll Town, Bia Chiefdom. That's exactly what it's saying here. The natural resources. We got diamond, we got gold, we got iron ore, okay? We got timber that are coming from the countryside. But what do the country people benefit from? And these are the kind of things you put in here and you want to cover it up by bringing in conflict and confusion. You allow these people that got nothing to offer you to further your agenda. They got nothing. They can't further your agenda. At the end of the day, your agenda is not being discussed. Most people right now, the only thing they're discussing is the conflict that happened 2 days ago. Of false error. That's what everybody is discussing right now. They were not, those people that follow you, Dr. Weir, that consider themselves a true patron of CDC, yet still they are unable to produce. And because they don't have the ability to produce or don't have the ability to function properly as an agency of the institution, would rather have conflict. Start something where yo will happen. And these kinds of nifty things will not be discussed. And this is why I, Samson Tor, of the Liberian Public Radio, have decided I will make it my duty every time that I come on air until I'm done with this booklet. I will continue to discuss the agenda, okay, the pro-poor agenda, because I've gone through it and I know there are some nice things. I don't agree with everything, and when I don't agree with something, I will say it. But you have to have these people to have this thing being discussed. The LU student that your people are having problem with right now, they are all learners. At LU, Liberia, the University of Liberia, it's a learning center. You can't change it. It's not a political institution. 60 to 65% of the kids that go to LU are there to learn. They are not there to run political party. So if you put a forum up where this thing going to be discussed, those who want to learn will come in the group and you will find out that they will be in majority. But those that have nothing to offer you, they will continue to find reason where the conflict continue to exist, thereby having people taking their mind off of these kinds of stuff. Let's go on. All right. Okay, so the state power and control of natural resources and the wealth that processes convey are often co-opted by ruling class to the exclusion of other people like me. Okay, The zero-sum game of politics has been a great impediment to the national development and has eroded the public administration culture so that the state institution find themselves largely serving the interests of those currently in power. Oh my God! I'm not making it up. Oh. The thing in here, the people wrote the thing right here. I'm not making it up. Okay? This is called historical perspective. Political party come to power. They've been running campaign. We're different. We're going to do things different. We're not going to be the same as the people that are coming out. And then they come in, they repeat themselves. This is exactly what they're talking about. Let me go on. I'm getting out of the weather. I'm trying my best. Okay, another topic now. I'm done with that historical perspective. Okay, the other one it says here. Okay, 1.121 formation of the state. Oh my goodness! You know, it's good sometimes to like to read. Okay, reading with understanding now. Okay, but if you can read sometimes, you tend to find things. Why is this person writing this? What are some of the reasons? What is the thought when these things are being put on paper? What was some of the things that was going through his mind? What was his emotional state? That's how you question these things. And perhaps you can come up with a fairly good reasoning to know his emotional state at the time this thing was being written. Okay, let's go on. Formation of the state. Liberia began an independent country in 1847. Okay, we know that one. Prior to that, the geographic space was occupied by a mix of at least 16 ethnic nations and 5 self-governing coastal settlements, populated largely by immigrants from the immigrant. I don't like that word. I don't like that word. I don't like that word. Immigrant. I don't like that word. I don't like that word. If you're referring to our own brothers and sisters as immigrant, I don't like that word because if I was involved, you see, this is some of the things I'm talking about. If we're having a discussion, a roundtable discussion, and I have the ability to come and say, I don't like this word, they will ask me what word you want to choose, and I'll come up with a wording. And other people might not agree with it, but let's read on. They've already immigrant from the United States, okay, repatriated from the Caribbean, and free people from the West African slave trade intercepted on high sea by the British and the United States fleet. In 1838, 5 coastal settlements covered and formed a Commonwealth. By 1842, 4 settlements were incorporated into Liberia, and by 1847, an independent republic was declared. As much as I can say it. The newly independent republic faced challenges to its sovereignty from colonial neighbors, France and Britain, and from the local rulers. Through a series of negotiated peace treaty and deeds of section made and with local ruler over the next 3 decades, largely to end recurring contests over boundaries and resources and improve trading relations. The 16 nations were brought into the new body politic under an agreement that allowed a dual system of governing to prevail. Now, here's what I have issue with. This particular thing that I've just read, think about it. It's the downfall for what is happening. I mean, it's the bedrock for the conflict that is happening right now in Liberia. Let me read that again. And please bear with me. It said, okay, where are we? Large, okay, blah, 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 boundaries and improve. The 16 nations were brought into the Bali politics on an arrangement that allow a dual system of governing to prevail. Dual system of governing. Dual system of governing. Why? Why is it that they decided from the initial stage to have a dual system of governing? I'm not even going to go far. I'll just guess at this before I go on reading. Okay. The settlement, those that from they call them immigrant here, they have a system for themselves. And the indigenous, they allow the indigenous to have their own system. And as time went on and on, they decided to merge those two systems. The system, my opinion, by that time have already taken root. The root of the system they have, the dual system they have, was so rooted into the culture at that point that for them to come apart, think about it, for them to come together, they have to cut certain root. And cutting that root becomes a problem. And we're still facing that problem because there are certain roots still that refuse to give for you to have one system. So this dual system that started way back in 1847, 1842 is the one that's giving us a problem today. And Liberians continue to refuse to actually find out what can we do without insulting each other. First of all, to recognize that this dual system has not served us correctly. And secondly, to see how we can mitigate the dual system to come out to be one, because the dual system is not working for us. So what are the mitigating factors that we can use to improve the system? And those kinds of information and those kinds of ideas can only come about first by respecting each other. By respecting each other. Because here, back in 1842, they've told us that there were a dual system. So that dual system, one of that system, have to be subservient to the other. Because you can't have an equal system in order for you to survive. If you did, you would have had two Liberia. So one of the system was somehow being proud out, making the people to believe that they have a system, whereas the dominant system were in control of everything. Why they did not recognize back in 18 something that this thing was going to cause us problems? Okay, I'm not going to go into that right now. Let's go ahead. Okay, the system now forming the nucleus of, I even read it here, coming out of the poor own mouth. The system now forming the nucleus of the new Republic of Liberia, who remain under civil law modeled after the United States and will be divided into five co-equal counties. In 1864, the Liberian legislature established an office of commissioner for native affairs in each of the 5 counties. You see what I'm saying? They told us that they have a dual system. Now they're telling us the other system now that is being that is dominated by the settlers who they have referred to as immigrant. They were dominating that particular system. And the other system that is set up for the indigenous is now being dominated by the system managed by the settlers. So they're trying to tell the settler, they're trying to tell the indigenous how to run the system that they themselves consider to be dual system. It's that same problem we're still facing today. And that system, that particular issue can only be resolved. Let me say it again. by us respecting each other. That would be the first thing that you would do. Make sure the respect factor is overwhelming. The people that are involved, that will be involved in this discussion. You must have respect for each other. You must have respect for each other. Because if you don't have respect for each other, you will not respect the person's view. And these are ideas, views that need to be discussed by only Liberians. And the blueprint for the pro-poor agenda have made it possible for us to have these kinds of discussion. But the people who wrote this thing don't even discuss it. People like Samson told, I'm not too sure if this thing is even valued in Liberia. So think about it. Think about it. Dual system. Okay? Okay? So with the dual system, one of them is now sending people 5 commissioners. Establish the commissioner. Who are the head of the commissioner? Samson too. I'm telling you, you know, these are some of the things that if you don't know what the conflict is about, you will not be able to have the conflict being brought to an end. Because you don't know what the conflict is about. You just jump in it. And they teach them, I even that the people say that I want to, you're not spoiling. You never heard that before? That the people team, you're not spoiling, I don't benefit you anything. You never heard that before? Because the people have no sheer interest. Because of the dual system that was set up back in 1842. It's still giving us problem. Let me read on. Okay. The commissioner would represent the government and deal with the problems of the native African in the coastal area. 9 years later, the power of the commissioner were extended and included the authority to conclude a trade agreement with nations of the hinterland. The hinterland at that time was, they said nation, but they're bringing them on. Honor a dual system. In 1869, an interior department was formed with a mandate to deal with all problems of the indigenous Africans. Unlike the Commissioner for Native Affairs, who were restricted to maintain relationship with the non-settler community in the coastal community, the new department deal with, this is deep, deal with what was then referred to as a hinterland as well. Okay. The final borderline of Liberia, an extension of its administrative authority, were not settled by negotiation internally, but externally with France in 1807 and British in 1811. Okay. Honor the system of a dual system. Okay. While the Fordist administration outposts of the central government honor the provision arrangement where the office of the district commissioner. Don't you have district commissioner in your county? I'm not talking about the district commissioner nowadays. I mean back in the 60s. Back in the 70s when I was growing up, we had district commissioners. This is the district commissioner they're talking about. Okay. At a large level, the county superintendent oversaw the function of these offices and the chieftaincies, because these outposts remained extension of the central government authority from Monrovia. Oh my goodness. All the appointments were made by the president of Liberia at his or her discretion. Here we go. These are things that start the problem, and we haven't resolved it. It's still there. Local administrators become and continue to be the de facto agent of the president to the hinterland. It's still going on. As opposed to genuine leader of local development effort by the will of the local people.
All effort to change this fundamental governing relationship between central and local administration have been unsuccessful. CDC government, Dr. Weah, please open a thing for discussion. If you want peace, war crime cope alone will not bring peace in our country. If you want peace, open this book up for discussion. And let the young people themselves immerse themselves in this discussion. And once again, I will say, if you don't know the cause of a conflict, how will you then try to resolve it? Because in order for you to resolve a conflict, the participants themselves are coming on board ready to negotiate. Because you can't have one winner take all. You're going to negotiate. And as Liberia, we know we are now one. We have a diverse view. Open this pro agenda here. Use this opportunity, Dr. Weah. Use this opportunity. So you will be great. You're great now, but you will be more great. Greater than what it is now. Honor your leadership. Don't let the people continue to pull you here and there. People who can produce continue to foment conflict. People who can produce continue to tell you things that are not true. People who can produce will always want to talk about things about their friends to you so they will look good because they can't produce. And the fact that they can't produce, they will always hang on stuff that are not necessary for the development of the country. Dr. Weah, open this pro-poor agenda for discussion. And let the students, let common citizens get hold of this. Take for example, all of these counties have seats, they have districts. So you spread this thing out. You know, one time here when we were here, William Yanu, a friend of mine, we had an organization here called LUNA. And the intent of LUNA, William Yanu was a founder of LUNA. I was the secretary at the time. But the fundamental reason of the formation of LUNA was to be able to educate our people strictly on the aspect of the Constitution. In fact, before Mr. Yanu took a position in Liberia, the people like Marvin Crawford, they have already put together a constitution. They print a bunch of constitution to take back to Liberia for the villagers themselves to be able to see what the Constitution is, what the Constitution say about election, what the Constitution say about their own right, how to participate in the election. That was the idea. Unfortunately, by the time Mr. Yanu took the position in Liberia, the first election has already gone, so the purpose of that was a little bit deflected. Let's put it that way. Okay, and so we were not able to continue. But here's now, if Dr. Weah take this blueprint and distribute them all over the country, Dr. Weah can come out right now as a legislature. Say 2 days a week must be the reading of the pro-poor agenda. And each one of these subdivisions, you have somebody have a meeting with the people and let them read the pro-poor agenda and let that be discussed. People will understand exactly what the pro-poor agenda is and what exactly you're trying to do. Because once again, I will say, without me pushing further, the pro-poor agenda is a blueprint that you will use to carry on the policy and whatever it is that you want to make Liberia to be good. It's all in here. But I will say again, Dr. Weir, because there are certain people among you, there are certain people that are with you, because they cannot produce. I don't know who those people are, so I'm not going to say a name or whatever, because I don't know who they are. And I'm not speculating either. Because if I were one of you, if I was among you, I will make, every time we go to a meeting, this thing will be brought up. First of all, we have to discuss it among ourselves. The minister must understand exactly what the proper agenda is. But I bet you talk to some of the minister right now, what the proper agenda is, they can't tell you exactly what it is. Because I doubt it if he has mandated to them for them to read this thing. And they should. And they must. Unless, once again, if this thing is just put out there for bluffing, then so be it. Okay. Okay. British and French, they negotiated. They found out where Liberia is right now. While the father's administrative outposts of the central government honor the provision agreement where the offices of the district commission, a higher level, a county superintendent oversaw the functions of these offices. I've already stated that. Okay. Because these outposts remain extension of the central government, okay, from Monrovia, okay. Okay. Local administrators becomes and continue to be de facto agent of the president to the hinterland as opposed to the genuine. Okay. All effort to change this never been successful. Okay. I will stop here for this evening. And the next reading on Friday, I will start with county and dual administrative governance. It's going to be interesting. Folks, this is Samson to LeBron Public Radio. If you're watching me, I'm just reading the proper agenda, and I will continue to read it. So we're trying our best. We're trying our best because these things are very important for me. Because in order for our brothers and sisters to see reason, to want to work with you, they must understand what kind of thing you want them to do in the first place. Excuse me. And Dr. Weir, you yourself, you play football. You can't just say number 9, somebody put number 9 jersey on and say go play. You have to tell them what you want as a coach. And you coach Liberian soccer team. You took them to the Nation Cup of Nations. They almost won. Because the way you administer the process as administrators. So you're not, for me, you're not stranger to administering things in Liberia. You have the experience. Once again, there are those who will continue to portray themselves to be for you. And at the end, your agenda, okay, will not go anywhere. At the end, your legacy will not go anywhere. And the sad thing is, even if you stay 12 years, even if you, let me be ridiculous, if you stay 24 years, you still will not be old enough that you will not remember, that people were not going to tease you about your legacy. Because you're young. You're young. So if you leave, it's your legacy you want to protect. This, if you do it well, will be your legacy. You can build all the roads you want in Monrovia. When it rains again next year, road gonna be colored because I don't see any kind of work going on in the countryside yet. Okay? So my thing that I'm saying to you here, Dr. Weir, is this. Let us try. I'm asking you once again. In fact, I'm begging you to have this proper agenda to be of mandated to all of your ministers. They must have this at the back of their mind. They must be able to discuss with people the in and out of the proper agenda. It must be part of them. Because you can't do it by yourself. In order for you to continue to win the people over, they must follow you. And they can only follow you, truly follow you. I'm not talking about when you go to places, these young men then dancing. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of follow I'm talking about. I mean, follow you intellectually. Follow you. When you stay in public, you say, I want to do this. They say, yeah, we're with you. I'm not talking about those who want certain things for themselves and say, I want to be with you. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, people who are against you, but because of your smart ideas, excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Because of your smart idea, they follow you. Even if they are opposition. Because here's the thing here. If you're opposition, you have to like smart thing. Unless if you're just opposition in the name only. So please, Dr. Weir, please have people discuss this. Have a forum where this thing going to be discussed. Let the Liberian government open up some sort of a Facebook page and publish this thing daily. Let people discuss it. This is good idea. But it must be put forth for people to follow. Samson told Liberian Public Radio. Like I said, the next reading, I'm going to go. Okay. All right, done. Okay. Next reading, I'm going to start from the, how do you call it? It's going to be 1.122. One country with dual administrative governance. This is going to be interesting. Okay. So I think what these people have done for us is such a wonderful, wonderful idea. But I know some of these people that wrote this thing. They're very smart people. I know them. Okay. And so they have laid out some groundwork for us and say they're going to give us some nifty stuff later. Some of the things I'll be reading, but I will not agree with them. But the fact that they have given me a base to stand on while I'm reading this thing, I appreciate that more. They didn't just give me the bad thing and I get discouraged. Right? No, they lay the groundwork. And those of us that like to read, those of us that consider ourselves political junkie, these are the things that get us going. Let me go on to another one. Okay, before I do that, let's do this. Okay, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. All right. Okay, this is music. I'm going to give. Oh, sorry. Before I do that. Okay, before I do that, let me go ahead and play this commercial before I get fired tonight. Let's play the commercial while I'm looking for other thing. Play the commercial. Samson to Liberian Public. We'll be right back.
I'm the president of the Perseverance chapter, and I'm overwhelmed with this convention followed by Queen Contest. this is another way of unifying LOFA. We know we are united, but when it comes to things like this, we get more unified and come together. And the closer we come, the better we all are going to be. So this December 15 of 2018, we are going to be hosting our convention in Pennsylvania. And we are going to be having a meet and greet on Webber Avenue, 224 Webber Avenue, and then followed by the convention the next day on the 15th on the same address, 1224 Webber Avenue, and followed by the ball at night, which will be on that same Saturday on 813 Long Acre, also in Yedi Avenue. I'm encouraging all the fans to come and join us. I'm encouraging us to be part of this. I want us to make this convention an example to other, organizations. They always say the Lufia are not together, but no, we are. And this one is going to make the difference. I want everybody to come. I know my people out there in Minnesota, you guys are responding so well. I've not heard from you, the chapter leader, but I have other people who are responding, including the Queen. I got my people who have my back, the New York chapter, Adama and other group. I also have the Jersey chapter that are also responded to us. And I appreciate and encourage all those who have not responded to us, to respond to us. When you receive our letter, we are waiting to hear from you, and we are willing to be part of it, and you be part of us to make this program a Georgia one, because without you, we can't have this program. So let us come together, united LOFA, one LOFA, let us also be together again in the center of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Welcome you all, and I tell you thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome, LIBERIA Pub Radio, Sam Sinto. Let's do it. Let's get on. Now that I've given you the reading of the Propo agenda, I will continue to read it, but my intent here is to make you to understand. Now that I've given you this Propo agenda, let's look at things that, if we're not careful, will continue to derail whatever positive thing that we're trying to do in our country. Okay? I'm just reading part of it. Didn't go through from the beginning, so I'm just going to give you the title. The title is Liberia 2017 Human Rights Report, and that is from the State Department, United States State Department. I'll go strictly to corruption. Okay? And the reason I'm doing this is this. I stated earlier that those who have nothing to contribute will always try to find reason where they will be able to bring up conflict, that perhaps we will not be able to have these kinds of discussion, fruitful discussion that will benefit all of us. Instead, because they are unable to produce, they will bring out issues that will try to divide us, and then they'll tell the president, Mr. President, see, I told you, these people, they're not something. They're not, you see, because they got nothing to offer. They got nothing to offer. Let's look at the situation in Liberia. Now, the government been in power now more than 6 months. So I'm not going to hold them to certain things, but there are certain things right now that still have not been taken care of that you can do. I don't see it, but I'm not going to go into that. But these are things that people would do. Those who are involved into corrupt behavior, they will do everything possible to protect their own interest. by making the president to understand that they're protecting his interest. And this is why I continue to say the idea of insulting each other, or the idea of insulting the leadership, or the idea of not respecting the leadership, it has a negative effect. Even if the leadership is willing to listen to you, but the mere fact that we continue to insult them, they don't want to be bothered. So those who are around them to say, you see, I'm not insulting you, I'm here to serve your interest, they will gravitate towards those people. So now we're going to be fight. I told you guys from day one that the intellectuals that continue to push this young man away, those who serve in previous government that have the experience, and because they feel they were not supporting the CDC government, and now the CDC government is in power, well, let them do whatever they have to. You take your hand off of it. The people who are corrupt and who don't want to see something good happen in Liberia will bring him to them. And now, by the time you realize that you want to be involved, they have already have him in the bubble. How do you bust that bubble to get him out? It's going to be difficult, but it can be done. It can be done. Now, here's the other interesting thing. I'm something else. Here's the other interesting thing. The fact that you allow this young man to be put in a bubble by these people who only there to serve their own interest, but because they make the president to feel that they're serving the interest, they put in the bubble. In order for you to get him out of that bubble, you're going to have to sacrifice some of your own integrity. You were going to have to compromise so deeply to the fact that if you're not careful, you might not be effective in giving the president and everything and those that are around you some nifty idea how to run the government. Whereas if you were to start from the beginning, what I used to warn you guys, if you were to start from the beginning to make the president, even though the election was over, you never supported him, but he was elected. Don't you respect the rule of Liberia and you call yourself an intellectual? He was elected. So the first thing you're going to do is go to him and accept the fact that he's your president. That's the first thing you're going to do. Swallow your pride. Put aside all the differences. The election is over. Let's put the election behind us. Let's accept the man to be our president. From that moment, when you do that, he will then accept you as somebody who is there to help. But you don't want, from the beginning, what I used to tell you, you don't want to accept him. He's not a good president. He can't lead. He's not a good person. He can't even read. You say all kinds of nasty things about this young man. So those that he can go to, he go to them. And they tell him, come, Dr. Weah, we'll help you. These people are not the only intellectual around here. We are also intellectual. We have the experience. However, they are devious. Their intent is not for the people. Their intent is for themselves. But because you push him away from the beginning, you who have the intent to help the Liberian people, because you push him away from the beginning, he's not in the hand of these people. In order for you to get him from that bubble, you're going to have to sacrifice. And those are the kinds of stuff that I try to warn you about. Because we all love Liberia. And we want Dr. Weah to succeed. And sooner or later, you will find out that this man must succeed. And so what do you do now? The fact that he's in a bubble. People are telling him. Let me give you a few examples. And you will understand. I'm not making it up. We all love Liberia. Excuse me. Let me give you a few examples. From the beginning, the president said, all I want to do for the Liberian people is to build roads. So what did he do? The first thing, the loan situation happened. $500 some more million. Everybody started making noise about it. Because the loan, we all know the loan was not something that was good for Liberia. We know that. But people, the economics, the good economics of us, among us, didn't want to deal with him. Oh, the man, he gonna get a loan that's not gonna be. I ain't let him go because they were getting problems. You throw him there. You throw him among the wolves. This man is a former football player. The only governmental experience he had is when he served as a senator. He won the election for Christ's sake. And your economy, people, some of you have worked in that field for years. You work for the United Nations, you work for World Bank, and everywhere else. Instead of you to come and show him the way, you decide, oh, you like kind of thing. So the international community frowned on that. That loan business blew and went one side. Whereas you, the economics people, the economic intellectual among us, if you were to work with him, I'm sure by now he'd have found loan that would have been benefiting to every one of us. You didn't do it. So he went to the other guy, the guy from Burkina Faso, and I sounded to what here praising them. Because I thought the loan was going through. We say, oh, first thing people say, the man, they had loan, that's some kind of funny deal. He went to that loan, the man borrowed him playing, and all kinds of things we said about that loan. What happened? It didn't materialize. Still, he wants something for that country. If any of those loans, even if they were bad loans, those of you that have managed bad loans before, those of you that have worked to turn bad loans into good loans, you're in Liberia, you know yourself. But because you never supported this young man in the election, and the man wants, so therefore he should go ahead and do whatever you want to do. It's your country, for Christ's sake. All these years you have gone to school. Is it not to benefit your people? Or because you didn't agree with this young man during the election, and therefore you push him away? The election is over. He decided, okay, I'm going to try to bring a ship, an electrical plant ship that will dock at the Freeport and be able to supply us electrical current here in Monrovia. We all, bloop, 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 we start talking here and there. No lie. The people took your stuff and went by. Who's suffering? Dr. We are right now where he is. There's electricity in the house. Who's suffering? Who's suffering? When you're ready to go to work in the morning, he ride on quota. Who's suffering? It's the people. The people that you call, the people you say you love. It's the people. How dare you say you love the people if you can't sacrifice your interest for the people? What else do you want? And so these people that are there, that are serving their own interest, will continue to block you now. You can't enter. Because first of all, Dr. Weir doesn't trust you. And do you blame him? Do you blame him if he doesn't trust you at this point? Do you blame him? So all of those people that are there to seek their own interest will always foment some sort of a conflict between the poor people to fight among themselves. And he has to pay attention to that. So those who are there that don't want no successful agenda or whatever, they're not going to allow Dr. Weir to have this agenda published so that people can read it. Let me read this corrupt behavior in Liberia according to the State Department. And here's the interesting thing about that. The State Department report is also being used not only by me or other Liberians, but it's also being used by people who want to invest in Liberia. So they go to the State Department. These things are public record. They don't even have to go to the State Department. They do Google, because I got this thing from Google. State Department report on Liberia 2017. Blue is there. And the people who wrote this thing are not Liberian. They're not from Town. So they don't feel sorry for people in total. The people write the thing, they come and live here in Washington, D.C. They don't care. They want to say the truth. They wrote exactly what they saw. They're not making it up. Let me read. Folks, this is Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. It's just very interesting. It's very sad. All because, my opinion, we do not have respect for one another. And in fact, we don't respect one another. We don't respect our leaders. And in fact, we don't respect our leaders. We don't trust our leaders. And in fact, we don't trust our leaders. We don't want to work with them. And so from one leader to another, the conflict continues. Going back to that stuff I read earlier, in 1842, they decided to give two dual system to operate Liberia. And that dual system still affects us. Let me read this corrupt behavior they have. Samson told LIBERIA Public, it's a very interesting thing. Very interesting thing. The intellectuals among us, stop this blah, 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 Samson told here and there. Let's focus how you can help Dr. Weah to help the people. You have to work with him. There's nothing else, unless you don't respect the rule of the Republic of Liberia. You have to work with him. He's the president. He was elected. He didn't steal it. So we must work with him. Let's swallow our pride and work with this man. And you will see how fast we go. Because all of the opposition, true opposition, your interest is to see Liberians move forward. Let me read it. This is from the State Department. Corruption and lack of transparency in government. Once again, go and read it. It's there. I'm not making it up. Liberia 2000. You go to Google. Excuse me. Liberia 2017 Human Rights Report. Just type in Google. Type that there. It will come up. Okay. It's a corruption and lack of transparency in the government. The law calls for integrity in government services and immoderate numerous offenses related to corrupt acts by the officials, including making false statements, tampering with public records, obstruction of justice, bribery, intimidation, and abuse of office. Liberian, they're not saying the people are not writing these behavior caused by Sierra Leone in Liberia. They're not saying this behavior caused by Nigeria in Liberia. They're not saying this behavior caused by Ghanaians, Ivorian, or whatever. They say Liberians. So these behavior are caused by Liberians in Liberia. So I want you to get that. Okay. The laws does not provide explicit criminal penalty for corruption by government officials. Although criminal penalty exists for economic sabotage, abuse of office, bribery, obstruction of justice, and other corrupt related acts, the government did not implement the law effectively, and officials often engage in corrupt practices with impunity. My people, this is State Department. State Department. This is not pro-poor agenda now. This is State Department. So when you go with your billionaire to go do business in Liberia, he reads this kind of stuff. And most of the people who make money, they want more money. So if they want to invest in Liberia, they want their investment to have some sort of good return. But they also know a government that is corrupt cannot produce for anything, and therefore you're not going to get nothing in return. Okay. Corruption persists throughout the government, and the World Bank's most recent worldwide governing indicators reflect that corruption was a serious problem. There were numerous reports of government corruption during the year. That's 2017. Let's get that straight. 2017, the mother of the land was the president of the Republic of Liberia. So I'm not talking about CDC-led government right now. But the report going to come out at the end of the year on Liberia. And as I predicted the last time, I will predict again. This time around, we, those of us that are involved in the social media will also be reflected. Our attitude, our behavior on social media about our country and the people that are leading will also be reflected in the report 2018. Let me read on. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Corruption. Now the giving of State Department is saying reason now. Listen to this. Reason why they think corruption is happening. Corruption. Low pay for civil service. Minimal job training and little judicial accountability except exhibited official corruption and contributed to a culture of impunity. The government dismissed or in some instances suspend officials for alleged corruption and recommended order for prosecution. The government generally failed to charge high-ranking officials with corruption and tend to recommend prosecution only against low-level civil servants. That's the 2017 government, and you know who was in power. Okay. Audit by internal auditing agency implicated government official in the misuse of funds from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning's private sector development initiative, which was intended to provide small businesses loans. The internal audit agency forwarded its audit result to the office of the president in June. And in August, some individuals reportedly were asked privately to make restitution. As of November, details regarding whether such payment had been made or who made them had not been made public, and no follow action has been taken. State Department. They're saying there was an auditing report about some money from finance ministry that was supposed to go towards private sector, and somehow somebody took some money, and they recommended the names they gave the report of the auditing result to the president, Madam Salih. And according to State Department, these people had no reason to lie. According to State Department, the president asked some of the people that were involved to privately pay. She asked them privately to pay back the money, and there was no report made public to the Liberian people. The result of that. Prosecution continued of those implicated in the global, the global witness bribe case corruption. A special prosecution task force appointed by the president indicted indicted former Speaker of the House, Alex Tyler, Senator Vanny Sherman, and other co-defendants for bribery in connection with the award of the concession contract to Sable Mining. You know that story. Okay. As of November, the case was pending following replacement of the trial judge and await a Supreme Court decision on the admissibility of certain evidence. State Department will not lie. Okay. Police corruption remains a problem. The police investigated reports of police. The police investigated report of police misconduct or corruption, and authorities suspended or dismissed several police officers. Okay, folks, these are the kinds of stuff that continue to cut our legs. Okay. So with that, I'm going to stop the reading for tonight. And I will go ahead and put the information, the call. I got the information, but the music is playing in the background. So let me set something up quickly, and we will be right back while I replay the commercial once more again. Let's go ahead and listen to that.
We
president of the Pennsylvania chapter, and I'm overwhelmed with this convention followed by Queen Contest. This is another way of unifying LOFA. We know we are united, but when it comes to things like this, we get more unified and come together. And the closer we come, the better we all are going to be. So this December 15 of 2018, we are going to be hosting our convention in Pennsylvania. And we are going to be having a meet and greet on Webber Avenue, 224 Webber Avenue, and then followed by the convention the next day on the 15th on the same address, 1224 Webber Avenue, and followed by the ball at night, which will be on that same Saturday on 813 Long Acre, also in Yedi Avenue. I'm encouraging all the fans to come and join us. I'm encouraging us to be part of this. I want us to make this convention an example to other, organizations. They always say the Lufia are not together, but no, we are. And this one is going to make the difference. I want everybody to come. I know my people out there in Minnesota, you guys are responding so well. I've not heard from you, the chapter leader, but I have other people who are responding, including the Queen. I got my people who have my back, the New York chapter, Adama and other group. I also have the Jersey chapter that have also responded to us. And I appreciate and encourage all those who have not responded to us, to respond to us. When you receive our letter, we are waiting to hear from you, and we are waiting to be part of it, and you be part of us to make this program a Georgia one, because without you, we can't have this program. So let us come together, united LOFA, one LOFA. Let us also be together again in the center of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Welcome you all, and I tell you thank you very much.
Again, folks, Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Pub Radio. We will now put something up for you to call us. So let's go ahead. Sam Sinto, LIBERIA Pub Radio. That's the calling number. Mr. So he goes, why you as an engineer didn't go as well? Go where? Okay. What a contradiction. You just mentioned it wasn't good. Why not out it? No, I'm not going to do that. Mr. Robert Zango, you see we're playing Lofa Convention. My man, I'm not playing. That's my brother. All right, folks, give me a call, 916-533-2048. Now, let me just say this. I'm not here to say what you want to say, or say don't say this. Whatever you want to say is up to you. But the idea here is for us to have this information. I'm not promoting the government ideas. No, I'm not promoting the government. Let's put it this way. I'm promoting the idea. I'm not promoting the government. If the government want any kinds of promotion, they will promote themselves. What I'm saying here is that the government must open this thing up for discussion. And there are those brothers and sisters who will say, why should we trust them when they continue to steal? I have no evidence that they've been stealing. I can't come on public radio like this and say people have been stealing when I have no proof. I can't do that. Even if I believe it. But I have to show proof in order for me to make that kind of pronouncement. So, but it's left for you. It's up to you. If what I'm saying here, my brother or sister, if what I'm saying, if it doesn't make sense, that's up to you. I can't do anything. But it's my job. I have made it my duty to read And I will continue. Come Friday again, I will continue to read it. Whenever I come on Liberian Public Radio, I will continue to read it. What I'm not going to do is to come on Liberian Public Radio and start calling people names, and to come on Liberian people and start cussing. I'm not going to do that. If I don't get audience, so be it. But I must put myself in a position, because I know we Liberians are not going to stay like that forever. I know we Liberians sooner or later will come to our senses, and we will be ready to get things moving. So I want to be ready. I want to be ready. Okay. Give me a call, 916-533-2048. I just played the commercial. So you saw my commercial, didn't you? So please don't threaten to fire me tonight. I beg you. I want to. This is a holiday. The spirit, you already threatened me. Threatening, if I don't play the commercial, I'm gonna be fired tonight. I already played. This is the spirit of Thanksgiving, and you dead threatening your employee, you're gonna fire them. You and Nathaniel, your friend, to fire me. I've been begging you over what you want. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. These are my brothers anyway. No, no, Mr. So, thank you very much. Honor your leadership as usual. Honor your leadership will continue to improve. You always giving us a mandate, whether brother or not. But the fact that we come out here to call ourselves like Brown Public Radio, you've always given us a mandate that we must do what we believe is to be true. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. And thank you very much for your leadership. We'll follow you. But anyway, folks, give me a call, 916-533-2048. Uh, if you have the opportunity to find this pro agenda, people are saying that I should send it to them, or how do they find it? I got this thing. Nope, the government didn't send it to me either, so I'm not going to send it to people because I was never given the permission to do so. What you could do now that the president have announced that, what you could do is to contact the information ministry, and I'm hoping that they will be able to have this thing ready to be sent out. Okay. Give me a call, 916-533-2048. Uh, now that I have this here, let's do something else. Okay. Let's do something else here quickly. Okay. All right. While I'm waiting for phone calls and stuff, what have you, folks, I'm gonna try to play something else here. Let me move my peanut one side. The peanut here, you don't play with it. Right? The peanut here from Total, you don't play with it. No, I'm making it up. This peanut actually from Lofa County. Let's put it that way, because there was this young kid, very smart guy, uh, Fala. He gave me this from Lofa County when I was home. He's a very smart young man, to be honest with you. So, okay. So, what the heck? Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. There's a lot of stuff I really want you to participate in. First of all, I'd like for you to get your hand on this pro agenda, and then we can discuss that. Uh, you know, truthfully, so that at least we will all be on the same page as we're having this discussion. What the heck is this one here? God, okay. I don't want that. Folks, I'm waiting for your call, of course. But anyway, before since I'm waiting for the call, let me just go on here. Yeah, that's the same thing I've been saying, my brother. I've been asking them to put this thing on the net, on the internet. Let Liberian get hold of this thing. I bet you, if you would, don't just take it from me, my brother. If you are to see this thing, it has such a wonderful, wonderful information that those of you that like to read will enjoy this. Will enjoy this. Okay. Uh, modernization of administrative government. Okay, a new national identity. Uh, I'm just reading some of the topic: transition in national leadership. Whoa, that's something interesting. Constitutional framework, okay? Population and development, total population, okay? So this is, I don't know, these are things that Liberian will enjoy reading about their country. Uh, Gender and age distribution, okay? Uh, 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 Spiritual distribution. Like I said, it doesn't matter where you come from. If every one of us has something in here that is good for us, you know? Okay. All right. So it's not just Samson Toll, that I like to read. This is a good stuff. This is a good stuff. Um, Labor forces and labor productivity. Now that's an interesting one for me. Okay. Urbanization and sustainable cities. They said, my goodness, doctor, we are please put this thing up. Let Liberia enjoy Liberia demographic dividends. Uh, Pattern of poverty and vulnerability by region. Ooh, that's another interesting one because it's by region. You're gonna find out what region is poor and what have you. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Okay, Liberia. Okay, they give you statistic as well. Uh, okay, children, youth, elderly, people with special needs. Okay, I mean, this is something. Okay, potential economic development driver from a regional perspective. My goodness. Okay, southeastern a region, southeastern no southeastern a region, southeastern a region is a southeastern a region comprised of Sino, Grand Gila, and River Cess County. Okay, southeastern B region. Okay, Maryland, River G, and Grand Cru County. Nothing. Then they give you information on these people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Okay, Maserati region. Okay, South Central. They did a good job. Okay. Economic growth. A critical lesson learned from the design of PRS was Liberia cannot simply create the economic and political structure of the past, which produced widespread income disparity, income and political marginalization, and deep social cleavages, and ultimately fuel the conflict. My goodness, how much more do you want? Give us this information. Put it on the internet. Liberian government, please put the pro-poor agenda on the internet. Okay, let me take this call. Samson to Liberian. Whoa, I hope. Okay. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Are you calling me for the radio or you're calling for something else? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can I call you back later though? Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you. Okay, family issue. They called me for family issue. We'll deal with it. Okay, folks. I think I've been out here for quite a while now. Let me get out of here. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Usually when I get off, that's when the people call. All right. Uh, but you know, we if we have to go, we have to go. So okay, okay, family. That's my sister. Okay. Folks, let me get out of here. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Before I leave, let me leave this one word with all of us here again this evening. Uh, Please stay safe. This holiday coming. Let's enjoy the turkey tomorrow. Those of us that are going to be eating turkey, let's enjoy it tomorrow. And please, whatever you do, stay safe. It's very important that we stay safe. Let me see. Maybe my supervisor called earlier. Okay, let me call my boss. Maybe he has contribution here before he say I'll call you. You call me back. Okay, let me call him. Samson told La Brumpa Radio. I'm not going to take myself out of this reading. Mr. Sue, are you there? Hello? Yeah, you called me earlier. I'm still on air. You have a conversation on Liberian Public Radio, or it's a private business?
Conversation up here because it seems to get my holiday easier out of the way this evening. I just wanted to call you up because you something to you just all over the place, and I just thought I could speak to you, but you knew, and that's why you didn't want to pick up my phone call.
Mr. So, I think I saw your show earlier today, and I was praising you coming my way and seeing the light that I have saw over and over, that the government of the Republic of Liberia must be respected, and I think that was the discussion today. And why now you want to spoil that? You've been a good servant to the Republic of Liberia, to the government of the Republic of Liberia. Why you want to spoil that now?
Look, hold on right there. This is not. You're not going to sugarcoat me here and tell me, by the way, the studio is so. Thank you for the hard work. Notwithstanding, we still have to do what we're supposed to do. You a couple of months ago, you're thinking, hallelujah, Hosanna, Hosanna, for the CDC-led government, to the extent some of us came to the conclusion that you something to our CDC. You sitting there in studio tonight and telling people, trying to chastise other people why they can't go to hell. You are satisfied engineer, work for the state of California, the golden state of California. Why is something to not going in there to help? And you were always talking on this line here when they knew they would call you. Have they called these people that you want to tell people to go now to go help? Come on, something to.
Well, the point that I was making, not necessarily for people to go home to work, but what I was saying was that there were certain intellectuals that are in Liberia, economy, high paid people who have helped previous government to manage.
About the roads right now, and you are satisfied. You are engineer, all right? So why not? Let us not talk about the economists and all of those people here. We're talking about the condition that will even make it more conducive for people to travel before economists can get from one point to another. So when are you going? When will you go?
Well, Mr. So, me going to Liberia has nothing to do with this. The fact that I'm not going to Liberia does not mean...
Don't talk like a baby. You're not like a baby. Don't even go there. This is not... I'm not going to sympathize with you, even though I say your studio is great. I'm not going to sympathize with you. So you just say, look, something, please. Don't do that to us.
Mr. So, as I was saying, the fact that I'm not going to Liberia does not negate my ability to speak on issues that is affecting our people. So if you sit there and saying that I shouldn't make any comment, the fact because I'm not in Liberia to help, then I think that then you're defeating the purpose. Because the purpose of this conversation, Mr. So, is strictly to enlighten people and also to point out things that I believe that perhaps if we put together as Liberia, we will be able to help each other.
My problem is you are excluding yourself out of the process, trying to be the Mr. Clean and trying to get other people on the bus. That is unfair.
Okay. All right. I see where you're coming from, but I just don't agree with you because my position here this evening is not to chastise people, those who are not going. I'm simply trying to point out the fact that if you want to have some sort of a concrete conversation, first of all, you must agree that Dr. Weah is your president. Secondly, you must have to...
Liberian, you have a contrary view to that, Mr. Toe. Every Liberian knows that Dr. Weah is the president of the Republic
but they do not behave as such. The Liberian that you're talking about do not behave as such. What I'm saying and what I'm suggesting...
In what context?
Well, you got Liberians on social media that continue to condemn the work of Dr. Weah. You got Liberians on social media that do not respect Dr. Weah. You got Liberians on social media that continue to curse Dr. Weah. How do you expect Dr. Weah down to come around and try to say, let's work together? That's the point that I'm trying to make.
I'm not talking about being that abusive But look, the point is, this is something that's not should be the excuse to deter this government to do what it's supposed to do. Because listen, time has involved a lot, and these people you just don't have control over them. The people that behave the same way they are behaving. Does that mean because somebody is doing something out of the way on the social network, the government will negate from its responsibilities? Is that what you are trying to? Is that what you're trying to present to your audience here this evening?
Well, Mr. So basically, what I try to present and I will continue to do is to read the propo agenda that I have. And by me reading it, I'm also promoting the propo agenda in a sense.
Why
I'm not
not
promoting.
open your lines? Why not open your lines for the people to speak out their voices instead of Sam Central being the only sole speaker, accepting his views, his liberal views on all, and some of us can just sit down here and buy into that.
Well, Mr. So, as a conservative, I expect you to come up with attacking my liberal view. I have no question about that, and I have no qualm on that either. However, I am a talk show host, and so I give my view on certain things, and then I open the line. If you look at my podcast right now, the number to call in is there. So I'm not. That doesn't preclude anybody from calling in. The number is there for people to call. The fact that I'm making these kinds of pronouncements does not and will not prohibit anybody from calling.
I haven't talked all you talk about. You liberty parties and traditions. I haven't all you talk about $10 that we are still in search for. Why?
Mr. So, I'm not about to talk about political parties because that is not my interest at this time. I am here strictly as a Liberian, and I want to make sure that Liberians get to understand what is happening.
So, have you resigned from being a politician? Have you resigned from your political party now? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I am a card-carrying member of Liberty Party. I have not resigned yet. Liberty Party have not kicked me out either. I am a card-carrying member of Liberty Party. However, being a card-carrying member of Liberty Party does not mean that I must just do things blindly. If CDC-led government is doing things that are of interest to Liberia and that will benefit Liberia, I must promote it and I must congratulate it and I must tell them thank you.
And that's what we are all doing, but more or less, I've never heard you one day you talk about this and the other time you so we just don't know who you are. Which party do you really belongs to? You Sam Central.
Well, that's just to show you that I'm not party driven. I am a man who is driven by the interest of the Liberian people. I do not put party before the Liberian people. Party is an institution that manage the affair of the politicians themselves. My intent and my interest is the Liberian people.
There is no evidence to suggest that you are one of those.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I'm not going to quarrel with that. I will accept it as it is, and I will say thank you.
Yeah. All right, Sam Central, thank you so much, and let me say congratulations for the hard work, the engineers of the studio I've been receiving a lot of messages. It's great. I know you're still working on it. We're still working on it, but I have to tell you off front that it's great, and it's awesome, and I just want to thank you. But we have to speak to that. All right.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, Mr. So we appreciate it. All right, folks, that's the voice of Mr. Francis Yonso. Tune in tomorrow to Mr. So Show, where he will give you some very interesting conversation about Liberia. Usually, he will come on with people who will come to discuss Liberia. You usually come on with a reporter from Liberia to give you up-to-date information about Liberia. And once again, before we call it quit here this evening, basically what we try to do here is not to promote individual. It is to promote the ideas the CDC government have put forward and call a propo agenda. And I, Sam Central, although I'm not a member of CDC, but however, I've always made it my duty to make sure that if a government that I know that represent all of us If the government is doing good, we must praise them and tell them thank you. If the government is doing wrong, we can criticize, but we must be responsible in our criticism. We must be able to criticize them without denigrating or insulting, because that is not criticism. That's completely out of order. You cannot have that kind of situation and call it decorum. I don't believe in that. So please, let me do the talking. I come out here, I have my show. I come out, the intent is to read. After reading, I'm hoping that my audience will listen to the reading. After the reading, I'm hoping by this time that the audience themselves will be able to get hold of this document, and perhaps we can read together. Because basically what I'm trying to do is to initiate conversation. After certain segment has been read, then we open the line for discussion, where those who have issue with certain paragraph, those who have issue with certain sentences that was put forth by me, those who have issue with the topic itself, will have the opportunity to disagree and have a fruitful discussion. We can disagree, but at the end we must be able to come together to find solution of our disagreement. You can't just disagree and leave it out there. You must find solution of the disagreement. Why are you disagreeing with me? Why am I disagreeing with you? What is the middle ground that we can find in order to move Liberia forward? Because believe it or not, no one person can move Liberia forward. That will be the ending statement from Samson Toll this evening. I want to thank all of you, and those of you that continue to follow us, that is. We want to thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Once again, please stay safe. Thanksgiving, a lot of things. It's a holiday. People are staying home. People are doing other stuff. But whatever it is that you're doing, please stay safe. It's been a wonderful time. And this is Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank you very much for fathering. And we will do as Mr. So suggested. And he said, yeah, we will do what we can to improve this studio here. We're not done yet, but we can't just not come on air. We're still working on a lot of things here in the studio. So hopefully the final product will be the product that you will be proud of as a Liberian Public Radio follower. Well, the end result of this, of whatever it is that we put in effort in, that you will be proud to grace our studio, to come in here and turn our podcast on and be happy that Liberian Public Radio is on, because we are giving you all of these things that we'll continue to do is for you to be happy with whatever we're doing. So once again, I will ask you to make comments on Liberian Public Radio comment section. You make comment as what you think about the studio. Not only the studio, but what is it that about the broadcast? May it be Mr. Soul Show, Mr. Mazura Gizi Show, Samson Toll Show, things that you don't like. Let us know so we can improve on it. Because Mr. Soul have already told all of us, do not take criticism from our audience to be personal, because it's not personal. Whatever criticism they give you in terms of your broadcasting, in terms of your behavior on studio, in terms of the way you talk during the broadcasting, if anybody make comments on it, it's not personal. Take that as a positive insight so that you can be able to improve on whatever the thing they're suggesting. And that's exactly what I'm asking all of you again this evening. If you come in here and you look at it, certain things you want me to improve on, please do so. But I ask that we be respectful to each other. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Thank you. Good night, folks.
Shut Hey, yo, baby.